write them, but they're easy. Look, don't kill, all right? Don't steal, don't lie. Sexual misconduct, we frown upon that, right? It's not like, this isn't like a huge list. And then the fifth one, come on, watch it with the intoxicants. Fair enough? Now you can go, oh God, it's just like reading the Quran, just like reading the Bible, just like reading the Talmud. Here we go again. I'm going to say it says the same things, but we have perhaps a very different understanding about what it is that we're getting at. And I suspect from the founders of those traditions, they were probably actually getting at this. But if you listen to human beings long enough, they'll take almost any list and turn it into a commandment, into a ritualized form. Although I seriously doubt that's what Jesus, Moses, Muhammad had in mind. They probably had something else in mind, like coming to terms with our underlying patterns that cause us suffering. How about that? Otherwise it can sound like a restriction on your freedom. Don't kill, don't lie, don't steal, no sexual misconduct. You know, if you're a child of the 60s, which many of you are, you know, sexual misconduct for you is like, you know, that's all relative, man. I mean, relative to the commune I'm living in, right? Not now, but before. Judy? Okay, so the idea here is not about, this isn't a restriction on your freedom. In fact, the very idea that this word is even a precept is a mistaken notion. The Sanskrit term for it, if you repeat after me, it's always fine to have one Sanskrit term per session. So repeat, prati, moksha. Okay, so a lot of you coming from other traditions, you know what moksha means. What's moksha mean? Anybody? Come on, yogi people. Yoga people? You don't even know what moksha means? Oh, God. Or Allah or whatever. Moksha means liberation. Buddhists they don't use that term, they use nirvana, but we're talking about the same thing. Right. Going to heaven in some traditions. Prati, P-R-A-T-I, means individual. So prati moksha. And prati moksha simply refers to how to gain individual freedom. Individual freedom. Now, the reason why I'm doing this morning, I don't really, you know, this is actually one of my favorite subjects to teach because it's so challenging and, you know, it can really get people under the ribs pretty easily because it sounds like commandments. And I actually had one of our teachers in Colorado, or one of our newer teachers, recently tried to teach this, and he studied and studied and studied, and he really wanted to do a good job and really deliver this. And he didn't go well for him, is the way he reported. So I thought I'd do a session this morning and to really inform you about exactly what this whole thing is about. There's a way to take a list like those 5 things that we just talked about and really turn it into a doctrine. And if I were a male monk, and I was, then I would do exactly that and be like, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a way I could uphold that and be really tight and really restrictive. And that anybody else who I saw doing those things, what would I feel about them as a result? You can imagine, if I'm keeping all my precepts really well, and I look over there and I see Sheila doing a little bit of what we call verbal exaggeration, I can look at her and go, what's that called? That's judgment. Okay. First of all, prati moksha means individual freedom. So if you're ever going to keep conduct, hold a couple of notions in attention. First, it's about you. It's never about whom? Anyone else. So if you see teachers behaving badly, I wouldn't sweat it. I wouldn't sweat it. They may be breaking the social contract. They may be breaking the social contract, and they may be behaving in ways that you don't understand, something like that. A lot of teachers, some of you have pointed out you came from Boulder, back here. I mean, you can point out a lot of different things, but actually, you really don't know what they're doing, because you can't see anyone else's mind. Can anyone else? If you can see someone else's mind, raise your hand. It's okay. You're still living in like sort of your own little fairy tale, and you think you see other people's minds and their intentions. It's cool. Raise your hand. You know, you have special gifts. It's cool. Okay, good. You don't. And you're right. You don't. You don't have special gifts. You're actually, your brain is just like everyone else's. It's encapsulated where? In your skull. Good. And you do not have special powers. Good news. So that there's a great deal of stress right there, right? Just waiting to be removed. Oh, I don't have special powers. Isn't that nice? So now you don't have to hold yourself up to, God, I guess my special powers are wrong all the time. Like all my last relationships that you've had, that you got in with the special power, and then it didn't work out, and then you have to wonder about your special powers. You don't remember those relationships that didn't work out? That when you thought you met that person, you thought, what? You're my soulmate. I can see forever in your eyes. Of course, I forgot to say seeing. When I said forever was just a story. And I only saw a seeing, and I didn't realize soulmate was a what?
Story.
Come on, you got the challenge. I'll challenge for now, but you need to take over the role. So, soulmate. Anybody seen their soulmate? Come on, here's how to dispute. What is this? Anybody seen their soulmate? Did you have special eyes? Magic eyes? No. Okay, you do? See, we have places for you to go. It's not here. Okay, so you can't see soulmate. Can you hear soulmate? Oh, his voice. You say he sounds a lot like Antonio Banderas. Kind of this coarse Latino thing. Ooh. Did you hear the voice, or did you have a story about it? Clearly that was a story, Elizabeth. Right. And then smelling. You smelled your soulmate? I can smell my soulmate coming. Tasted your soulmate? I know. Fun to think of like it, but no. And so soulmate belongs distinctly in which category? Your story. All right. That's very helpful. That way when someone says crazy things to you, like, let's run away, it's you and me versus the world, you can go like this. Breathing in, breathing out. See how this is going to save you?
Yes.
You don't even need a higher power here. You just need to breathe. You just need to breathe through that. All right? Okay. So, back to the subject. Not killing, not stealing, not lying, sexual misconduct and intoxicants. Instead of commandments, how about we take them as ways that we can free ourselves? That once we develop a relaxation response in a non-reactive relationship, we understand our minds, then the patterns are still there. The patterns to destruct, to self-destruct, to go back to behaviors that harm us. Fair enough? Even though we're realized, we still get hammered, drunk, and say stupid things that we shouldn't say. And then you come out of that and go, oh, that headache, where's that realization when I need it? Where's that insight? Or you lose yourself in a moment of anger. See what I mean? Or you say things that aren't true. You exaggerate, you embellish. You have some gossip. But remember, you just had realization the day before on the cushion. Oh, everything seems so spacious and so free, and now I'm sitting here doing what? Talking badly about Aunt Sally again. So where's that realization? See the gulf, the distance between the realization and the way that you actually live? And that's where you have to start. Is recognizing, yeah, I actually do understand. I actually have read enough self-help books. I have read enough spiritual books. I've read those things. I actually have had experiences. But it's not enough to defeat the underlying tendencies to revert back to self-destructive behavior. Fair enough? Okay. That's what the precepts are for. So, yeah, it says the same thing as the Bible. It does say the same thing, don't kill. But, geez, does anybody in here, do you not know that? I mean, who are we? This is a room full of educated adults. I don't need to tell you to not to kill. You already know that, right? A big part of the conflict is about, in terms of the Buddhist understanding, is what are we talking about when we say killing? Because, man, if I hear another vegetarian, vegan, fragile vegan thing, That's not what this is about. It's not about your dietary concerns. This is about not hurting specifically, ready, human beings.